Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone. And I posted about an hour ago about something that has been occurring to me over the past few months. Okay, so I would love to do this, and I'm choosing to do it live so that at least as many people that are online can join. So we have this discussion. We have this time to think through together. Let me know if you're joining me. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. I hope my connection is strong enough. And I hope I'm loud and clear. All right. Okay. Sorry, don't mind. Okay, I had to use this. Just anyway, forget about my background or anything. Okay, so I made some notes. And I would love to share them with us. But as you also listen, please feel free to drop your suggestions, what you think, and if any of this resonates with you, or maybe if you also had such an encounter. Let me start by sharing with you what I saw. I'll just give it a brief description of it, maybe not everything. Don't let me bore you with too much too raunchy. Sometime in June, I had a dream, and in the dream, basically, I was shown some things, and the long and short of it is, it was clear the next 1 year will be tough. I was made to see how tough, and it wasn't palatable. The toughness wasn't that I saw was not palatable. It was more of I wouldn't say drought, like famine, if I can put it that way, famine. Oh, let me tag my page here so that I hope I can. Let me tag my page so at least this can also be running there. No, there's no way to tag. There should be a way to tag. Oh, let me see. Oh, I shared this. Okay, hold on, please. Sorry, open me. I want to share this on my page, Mayokun MA, because I had also shared it there that okay. What I'll do is this. I'll just share this live broadcast there so that people there can follow also. Sorry, permit me to do that so I don't have to repeat this. I don't have to repeat this. Okay. Sorry, please, just one moment and I would your page. Okay. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so in June, I had this encounter. I was on a dream, and people who are close to me will know when it comes. When I say have the dream and all that, yeah, it's one of the graces that I have. So it was drought, it was famine that I saw, and then a prophecy came, a voice came and says the next 1 year will be tough. As at that time, I shared only with one person, just one person, and a friend. I didn't know what to do, so because what I saw. So I prayed about it. This wasn't one of those things that pray and you think it will go away. No, it was a definite. This would happen. So I prayed about it. After some weeks, I shared it with a group that I belong to, the Christian Nation Builders Network. But what I shared with them was a warning, kind of. That was after a month that I saw it. I shared with them, and maybe later today I would share, what I said there. And I told them, please, this is the time to start a food bank. That was in August. I shared it with them in August. I said, this is the time to start a food bank, especially pastors, bodies, people who have something. And even as individuals, don't say I don't have food to eat now. Oh, I don't even have food to eat now. So how would I save? You can team up with friends. I just shared it with them. Later I'll post that maybe in the comment section here or maybe as a separate post. It was a lengthy thing. And then every month since then, I've been sharing on that group just to allow them. I still shared a few days ago. But I shared with that group of people, which is just about 500 people. But when you know you don't have, you still, you know you can't just, I mean, you've not alerted people enough. And I said, oh, I would, how would it, I don't know how to say it. I'm not a pastor. Yes, I minister. I'm a minister of God in the sense that everyone, every individual if you're born again, you know, there's someone you are called to bless. Yes, I am, but I'm not a minister, and I'm wary of this God said and things like that. So I didn't know how to warn people. So I kept sharing on the CNBN, on WhatsApp, not on the Facebook group. But it kept coming. And overnight today, I still had an encounter, you know, where I saw a food bank. I said, okay, you know what? I have just few friends on Facebook, but maybe if I bring it to Facebook and share it with everyone, people can hear and then just prepare, you know, just prepare, do the bit you can do. All right, so that's about the dream. Now, I'll share the notes I took with everyone, and the note, you know, has to do with what you can do, or you know, what to expect when that time comes. Yes, I was told the next 1 year. So I started measuring by my human calculation that, okay, if I say when next 1 year, so we should be looking at June to June. So June this year till June next year. Well, but if we have to go by the 7 years of Joseph when he saw, I said, oh God, no, Father, don't let it be 7 years. Anyway, what I saw was 1 year. But do you know that since June, I began to, what also scared me a bit was I began to monitor things happening all over the world. And it seemed like almost, yes, we knew about the Ukraine war. We started since February. But it really didn't start taking its toll. After I had a dream, so many things has happened in the world that each time I hear it, I'm like, God, this is happening, it's happening. I mean, it started with, you know, inflation is on now. The energy crisis is on now. Yes, the West are the ones feeling the energy crisis now. Nigeria seem not to be feeling it, but I am uncomfortable. Something tells me we're already in it, but we just haven't accepted. And you know, when things happen like this, the Oyinbos would have handled things, or maybe that's when we would be waking up to it. There is financial crisis already. There is global financial crisis. They are predicting it. The West is predicting in America. The president of this bank will say they foresee recession. But somehow, I think they know they're already in recession. I mean, President Biden had to actually go dip his hand, you know, in the reserve, in their energy, you know, gas reserve. Something in the story. They had to go dip their hand into their gas reserve. That tells us something. And Putin is not slowing down. You know, people thought, oh, he's been overcome and all that. So we have some countries who are bent on turning the world upside down. But I think I see the finger of God in all of this. And by the time it gets to the big, you know, when the big ones are feeling it, what would happen here? We see what is happening in the UK. So each time I'm watching the news, I'm seeing what is happening. Then the flood came. It started with, oh, extreme weather, then flood. And then I had prices of food, you know, prices of food are going up everywhere, not only in Nigeria. And it's as if these events are coming on. But you know what? Even as it is now, it's still better. So let's talk about this now. I just thought, let me do my part. Let me warn people. Let people know this was what I saw. Now, I want to believe that there will be some other people who pick the same vibes too. I'm not the only one that God speaks to. So let me share my notes with you. I'll share stages, likely scenarios that would happen. The first stage would be inflation. Inflation is already on now. It will make a mess of the money that people have. You know, when people hear things like this, the first thing is, okay, I'll save money. But you know what I picked in my spirit about this thing? It will make a mess of money. You will have money and doubt. You can't. You know that kind of family that you have money, but money is useless. Sorry, I don't want to sound alarming. No. I'm sure people will be wondering, what is wrong with Mayokun today? No, this is not me. This is not me. This is not my normal Mayokun. Even if I have things like this, I'd rather share it with my close people. In fact, there are so many things I don't share with anybody. I'll just handle in prayer and go on my way. But I just feel that this to be selfish of me to have this much information, especially divinely, and not just tell people, even if it's my friends and I trust God that they too will share with someone and share with someone and share with someone. At least a few of us will prepare. And there's another reason why I would love for us to prepare. Because if you think you can save yourself alone, what is coming cannot save you. It's not something that you can say, okay, I'm shielded, or I'll be okay, or okay, if my family is fine, if I can get food to eat, then I'm okay. It's not the kind of thing that is coming up. It's not. I'll share with you. So the first scenario, the first stage will be, okay, there will be inflation. It will make a mess of the value of money. You know, even now it is on. What you have before, if you thought, oh, I have well, for those who are in the UK and US, I have so amount of dollars or so amount of pounds and all that. What you can buy now, what you can buy with, let's say £1,000, some 4-5 months ago, you can't buy now. Same thing in America and same thing in Nigeria. You hold 100,000 now. You know how much of provisions you could buy, let's say with 20,000 before now. But now you know the quantity of what you can buy with the same amount of money. Your salary is not increasing, your income is not increasing, your revenue is not increasing. That is inflation. That is inflation. So that's the first day. So we think, okay, no problem. You know what? Let me increase my revenue. Let me increase. Well, jobs are not. Jobs are there, but how many organizations are increasing salaries now? So the first stage is inflation. Then the next stage, there will be no food, even if there's money. I want to say, may God forbid a situation where we have the money to buy food and then there is no food. And that second stage flashed before me just in the last 2-3 weeks. You know how? Flood started. It started with Lokoja. That was the first one that made the news. Lokoja is flooded. And tankers carrying petroleum products couldn't pass. They were stuck there I heard for weeks. They couldn't pass. So a situation where there is food somewhere, maybe in the north, because at least the north produce most of the food that we eat in Nigeria. So let's now say, sorry, let me, don't mind, I sat on the floor. Okay, so let's say there is food. So it's not even a case of farmers are not producing. So farmers produce food, but some natural occurrence happens and they can't even bring food down south. Yes, we do kind of subsistence farming in the south, in the west, and in the south, but we know that at least they're not. So what happens then? What happens when what you've planted in your backyard farm finishes? So when I saw that, and then the flood now came, affecting a lot of states this time around, Bayelsa, Delta, and all that. In all those places that they've experienced flood, people are dying. But one other thing is food will be scarce because even storage, the flood could have destroyed some food items, even if they stored it. The ones they've planted, the flood must have destroyed it. So it's taking its toll already. When I saw that in the last 3 weeks again, I said, and I'm keeping quiet. Okay, let me speak up. So the first stage, inflation. The next stage, no food, even if you have the money. Then the third stage is a few people who even have the food, maybe let's say farmers or some who have something, they will now start hoarding it. Because now it will be clear to them that, even if I have the money, I can't buy more food. So let me hoard what I have. And then the stage 4 is what scares me. Stage 4 would be a lot of insecurity. A lot of insecurity. Now it won't be to kidnap and all that. It will be for food. Did we remember what happened at some point in time that Boko Haram then? They were kidnapping people and sacking communities. All for what? All for food. Because even though they had the ammunition and all that, they were hungry, so they didn't dare to eat. You see, in this life, there is may God not allow us get in a stage where you just want to survive. You just want to live. And Ukraine is a perfect example. An average person living in Ukraine now is not thinking about school. It's not thinking about having money. It's thinking of how would I wake up tomorrow um, with my head intact? How would I not be sick in this situation? Because they know that, yes, it's not as if, but there are limited medical supplies or any supplies. Even if you have medical supplies, you don't know whether a bomb would actually land on you if you had wanted to go today. So another person in Ukraine now is thinking of how to survive food, how to wake up and live, and how not to fall ill at this time. And so when that time comes, with a nation like Nigeria, where we are already on each other's throats, as to you have the haves and the have-nots, and people will do anything just to make money now. When it gets to the point that now food scarcity is involved, or this time, what I've described is involved, people will probably practically do anything to get food to eat. Just about anything. One of the things we've shied away from when we see young women going into all kinds of vices, we call them olushu and all that, it's not excusable, yes, but we can't shy away from the fact that a lot of them are in it because of poverty. They need to survive. They need their family members to survive. They are using what they have to get what they want. Imagine when it now comes to the point that people can eat, people will do just about anything. Now, do we want to allow that? We don't want to allow that. That's why I will actually go next into what we can do. If we're sure that this thing will come based on what instruction I had, or the nudging I had, the encounter I had, and I just shared with us, it's better we prepare. It's even better we prepare. And the time, and that thing does not happen, then it happens and we say, and one woman said it that time, but we didn't do anything about it. Thank you, Femi, for joining, and thank you, Victor, for joining. Okay, my sister Remy joined earlier. Okay, she's still there. Thank you for joining. Thank you. You can also help share. You can help share it to other people. Okay, so what can we do? Sorry, don't mind me. So what can we do? We can save money, but just know that it won't be for too long, because you get a time that the money would even be made a mess of. So save money. But then, much more than that, what me I've thought of now is actually to start a food bank, which was what I shared with that group that I said I shared this with back then. Sorry. I hope. Sorry, hold on. I just want to be sure. So, to start a food bank. Now, an average Nigerian will say, start a food bank. I've not even gotten food to eat, now. And you want me to start a food bank and store food or something like that. And that is why I've identified like 1, 2, 3, 5 groups of people that must rise up to achieve this. The first is the individual. We can't still remove the responsibility to preserve yourself from individuals. Yorubas will say, like, you yourself know how to best self-preserve yourself. So what to do will be to start looking at, creating a food bank, so that even now, you don't even have to, let's say, anytime you go to shop, for instance, you can just buy something extra. So if you would have bought like 2 derikas of rice, you can buy 3. That one extra, you just keep somewhere. I'm just using derika. So if you buy in bags, so if you would have bought, let's say, spaghetti, 10 spaghetti per month, so you can buy 12 and store 2. Or even out of that 10, you just keep 1 or 2. So you cut the ration a bit. Yes, I know that God supplies all our needs according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. I know we'll eat from the pocket of Job, but I believe that this is also wisdom. So the self-preservation starts from individuals themselves. So start working on it now. Those I shared with their family members back then too. And a few people are working on this. But so it'll be good if you can also do this. But the first level is individuals. But the next set of people, I actually want to appeal to them. The next set of people are religious leaders, pastors. Pastors and imams and religious leaders, I want to beg us, please, I want to beg. And there's a reason why I want to beg. Yes, I know some pastors too, it's not as if they have so much money. But is it possible we begin to, as pastors, begin to work with church members with this knowing? If it agrees with you, go and pray about it. Ask God for direction about this. He will lead you. He will lead you whether this is something to do or not. But well, I've said my own. But as pastors, please begin to, because when that time comes, people would actually look forward to you. They will look to you as their leader to find a solution. They'll come to you. Pastor's house is where they'll come first. And maybe this is the time to give back to your congregation. You know, all those tithes and offering that we've been collecting as pastors. Even the scriptures in Malachi says, bring all your tithes into the storehouse. 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 What is a storehouse? A storehouse is where you put something against a time to come. A time that thing might not be in season, or you might not have too much of it. So you have something to rely on. Storehouse. So even the tithes, the offerings is supposed to be brought into the storehouse so that when that time comes, it is used for those who are vulnerable. Even when David dreamt about the 7 years of plenty and another 7 years of lack, they stored up during the 7 years. Well, I'm not sure Nigeria has stored up, but well, it's still not too late. You know, you think things are hard now. God forbid, from what I saw. From what I saw, we would look at this time, this period, and we say, things were good in October. That's from what I saw. I'm not alarming anybody. I'm just sharing with you what I saw. I agree with it, disagree with it, no problem. You know, so this is the time that if churches can actually turn the storehouse into a real storehouse, where many churches do it already anyway, so this is not to lash out at anything. No, I'm not lashing out at anything. I'm just saying that, you know, this is the time to use the storehouse for really what it is, which is a storehouse. Is it possible they buy food items and just, you know, store it away somewhere? It's possible. So you can begin to do that now, because when that time comes, if people don't get something to eat, the insecurity will follow on all of us. Okay, let me even share with you some of the things that will happen. There will be a lot of harassment, apart from insecurity. Husband and wife will be harassing themselves in the house. One of the things that causes rancor and conflict and whatever in marriage is lack and poverty. When it gets to a stage where a husband who's been up and doing, who's been doing well or breadwinning for the house can no longer provide, and the wife too is not doing well, it will affect their relationship. When it gets to that point, even pastors would know. You will settle conflict, it will tire you. So I'm not saying this. What I'm saying is like a foolproof, all-in-one solution. I have a feeling that if we actually heed, it will cushion the effect very well. Thankfully, you know what I'm thankful about? In the encounter that I have, they said the next 1 year will be tough. So that means at least there is a time to eat. It will end one day. So if we know there is a timeline to it and it will end one day, at least we can cushion the effect. Even if we feel it, we can cushion it a bit. So I'm calling on pastors, head of churches, general overseers. Please, I am a small child, though. Please, I cannot. I respectfully, I'm doing this respectfully, that we look into what I'm saying, pray about it, and please do something about it. Let's use a lot of the resources we have now to buy non-perishable foods, rice, gari, beans, and all that, and just store them. You can even tell people in your church who are well-to-do to bring something in every month. Like, just store it until the time that you know it's needed, and then you can give it to the vulnerable, especially widows, widowers, the fatherless. Some people won't even be widows or fatherless at that time, but they will be out of job and they need to eat. Some would have children, and what everyone wants to just like eat and survive the next day. So please, I'm calling on clerics generally of all churches. Don't say how much is coming in. If it is small money that's coming. And may I also ask, or let me say plead, as we're also doing that, when that time comes, maybe not now, you can still be encouraging people to bring their tithes and their offering in, it's fine. But when that time comes, I think churches should also be wise not to tax people too much, because in Nigeria especially, at times we don't know when to stop. We don't know when to stop milking people. Some churches will still, even in that agony, will still be telling people, you are suffering, or you don't have food in your house because you are not giving or tithing. No. This one is not you are suffering because you are not tithing. No. I knew what I saw. The famine happened in the time of Joseph. It wasn't because Jacob or Israel at that time was not a person of covenant. It wasn't because he didn't give. The famine happened. Famine happens. It won't be because people didn't give or they didn't give their tithe or something like that. There are some things that people who are, the flood that is happening now, you're telling me that there are not people who are God's people there or are tithe and all that. So, permit me, shit happens. And this shit would happen. So please, I'm also appealing ahead. It won't be a time, that would be the time that the world has to know the difference between the church and the ungodly. I've not seen a Jesus, the Jesus that I serve will not see you in need and still tax you and say, and take from you. When he saw the multitude that they were hungry, what did he do? He provided food for them. When the multitude were hungry, he saw them and he had compassion on them. That was what the Bible says. The Bible says he had compassion on them and he provided food for them. So please, church, and I think, this is from above. When things like this is from above, it's above all the things that are happening in the world now. It is divine. Pray about it from now till together. There is something God is working. Maybe later, but there is something I know in my spirit that God is working through everything that is happening globally. So please, I'm pleading, when that time comes, is a time for the church to give back to the people, to cushion the effect on the people, not to add to their burden and to tell them it's because they don't have faith, that's why they don't have food, or that's why things are going. No, it's something happening to all of us, and there's a time for us to actually see ourselves through it. This is not something one person. So I've said it before, I'll say it again now. It's not something that you hoard food and think you are insulated. If you hoard food, just know that you have to share it with your neighbor when that time comes. So it's better we start working with each other now to get food bank, or at least to save. Even if you're not saving with your neighbor, tell your neighbor, share work with dear, save something, this, I heard that this, and now, just advise them so that when that time comes, everyone can be insulated together. Okay, so I said, what can we do? I've shared that one. Save money, but start a food bank. And okay, I was talking about who must food bank. I've talked about individuals must food bank, then religious organization. I spent time on that. Then the wealthy, please, those who have money, help us. I know now you might not see it. You might say, my money is for me. Please, just help us. You have money now. I wish I could have a big warehouse and have so much money, and then I buy rice now. I buy beans, because I heard it's local rice is for 20-something thousand. Imported rice is going maybe 30-something thousand now, or even 40. I wish I could. I was sharing a few days ago with a team of every December. My church, we contribute and then do something. So I was telling the team that I wish we could have money and buy rice, because by December, the money that we are contributing, I hope it won't be made a mess of, because by then, how many bags of rice would we be able to buy? How many people would we be able to bless eventually? So, those of you who have money, that God has given this money, I know it's grace to give. Not everybody has money to, but maybe this appeal will just enter into people's ears. Please, if you can share this with them, we can forward the link to them, please. I'm not catching cruises. No, this is not cloud chasing. No. Check my timeline. I don't do these things like that. But let's appeal to them to help us have silos for food. Let them buy, let them import, let them do anything, let them see for that time to come. And when that time comes, let them help the needy. Let them help the needy. There's nothing wrong in when that time comes. You just, this person, imagine this person provides food, daily meal for 500 people. This one provide 500. You know, we do it all over our communities, imagine all over Nigeria. It's not as if, it might not even be the normal portion that people will eat, but at least it will take us through. So the wealthy, appealing to you. Help us food bank. Corporate organizations also, especially those who are getting some contracts from our soil, oil contracts, all the contracts that you've been getting, thank you. But please, help us save some money and use that money to, food bank now. Like food bank now. It's not something that they're in December. Please, let's food bank now. I don't know. I was told 1 year. I had the dream in June. I don't know whether that 1 year started that June, and of course, you know how God does it. It might be a season, it might be 1 year exactly, but I am just, so please, corporate organizations do that. Then traditional rulers. This is actually also a time that our traditional rulers will really be useful for us. Sorry, let me rephrase so that it does not look like someone is saying I'm saying they are not useful. Sorry, that's not, I mean, they can give back. Some of them are doing fantastically well. I know so many traditional rulers who are sponsoring people. I know one, Oba Abolari. I know him. This one, nobody said they say I know what he does. He actually, since he became king, I think the only thing is the cabinet of is it Orogunle, something like that. Check him out. He doesn't make noise about it. It's even people that will be telling of what he's doing. He's sending practically almost every child in his town to school. He has started that adopt a child thing. He will call one of his friends. Please help me adopt one child down here. He does it a lot. So I know so many traditional rulers, there might be so many traditional rulers that are doing such. But please, can we also add this to it? So help us also build a food bank so that when that time comes to as the traditional ruler, because you are the people, the pastors, traditional rulers, and all that. People will come to you and say, the town or the community is hungry. So please, let's plan ahead. So those are the people that must. Now, this is what not to do. We have one negative thing, the negative mentality in Nigeria, and that's the mentality of begging. We do it as a nation. You know, and I think it's also an African thing. This aid thing. Once there is flood, we're looking for aid. When there is something, we're looking for aid. We think aid is free money. But let me burst your bubble. You know what is happening? All those countries are also grappling with their own problems. UK is grappling with its own. They've just changed prime minister within how many months? UK is, and the war in Ukraine is even is really draining them of their resources. You know, so resources they would have used, or yes, they budgeted for it, but they're putting some in Ukraine. There is flood somewhere, they're sending money there. Same thing is happening in the US. They are being stretched thin. They're even dipping their hands into their reserves. When that time comes, don't expect any aid. Don't expect any aid. To the authorities in Nigeria, the government authorities in Nigeria, please, don't think when that time comes, you dip hand in one or UN will come to your aid and all that. No. As individuals also, please, this is not the time to think, oh, when that time comes, I have an uncle in Senate because he's always been paying your rent, he's always been sending your children to school, he's always there when you call him. When that time comes, you know something that would affect everybody's thought, that everyone wants to just self-preserve. So let's not wait. That's not what I wrote it here. What not to do. Don't wait to beg. Don't wait to hustle. Don't wait to wait that time and say anyhow now. man must chop. If I go and meet my uncle and all that, everybody at that time would be everybody would be like trying to save their head. Almost all governments will be overwhelmed, or even our own government. Whoever becomes president, I pity the person. Just like the UK. Yes, we might say that distrust, arrogance added to what happened to her, but it's not an easy time to be the leader of any country at this present time, in this present day. Not even US, not even. All leaders are not having it smooth rara at all. There are tough decisions to be made. There are problems facing you every day that you must solve, and except by the wisdom of God and by the Spirit of God. So let's not wait and think that help will come from abroad in that time. So please, don't wait to beg. Start doing something now. So please, I know some of us join. Please feel free to share if you have your own thoughts too, please share it. You can drop it in the comment section. I'm sure I'll read it now. And I believe that when others come, maybe after the broadcast has finished, they will also be able to read. Let's keep the conversation on. Wisdom does not reside in just one person. Yes, God can show one person or two people or different people things, and others will follow. But there is no one that is just the only repository of wisdom or how to go about this. So if you also have some thoughts as to what we can do, or if this resonates with you, or if it is, please feel free to drop it in the comment section, or even send me a DM if you feel there's something you need to talk about. Now, let me quickly also, before I wrap up this, let me share, when that time comes to, the question will be, okay, what will people be doing? Will they stop work or something? No, work will still be going on. No. People will still go to their daily job. It's just that, a situation when you're working, but inflation is taking it away and the food is not there. You understand? So when that time comes, those who will work will still continue working. They will get their pay. But this is the time to actually start getting creative ahead. What can you do? What are you doing, and how can you do it better given us an unpleasant circumstance? Almost everybody can thrive when everything is good. Almost everybody can do well. Almost every home can be joyful when there is plenty. I mean, there is no fight now. My husband comes, I prepare him food, he eats. I get my salary as the husband. I come home, I spray my wife. Almost every home, almost any home can be joyful when there is abundance. But the true test of things will come when there is lack, when there is a setback. So what can you do if there are adverse situations all over? So it will be the time to get creative. Every one of us, we have giftings in us. So what can you do? Then think of what services would people patronize then. There are some services that whether they would patronize, people must at least sleep in a house. Okay, maybe this also would make me talk about rent, landlord. Some landlords are increasing rent in this time that people are. You go shock them, because to get to a time, people will just tell them, I'm not paying and I'm not leaving this house. God help us. So anyway, people will still live in a house. People will still wear clothes. It might not be the most expensive one, but at least they want to put something on their back. So maybe bend down this thing. I trust God for ideas for you. But the areas I want to talk about is even whatever services you are rendering. Think of how you can, is this scale down? I think, no, not scale down, but at least provide it. Okay, let me give an example. That would explain. I'm not a marketing person. I'm not so much of a marketing person, so maybe that's why I'm looking for the words to use now. But you can help me. There was a time we had beverages in big babasala cans in those days, in the 70s and the 80s. Then all of a sudden, this one came. Cowbell came, and then packaged it in 5 naira, those small sachet. It's never been done before. Because, those beverages were for Ovaltine. Yes, there was Milo, there was Bonvita and Ovaltine then. They were for the not so rich, oh, but at least the middle class. Then the makers of cowbell came. I have a feeling they are Indians or all these Lebanese. They came and then started putting it in small so and they started selling. All those things. Initially, it was like, who will buy this one? People are buying it more now. So many other products have learned to actually, package their things small like that. So that, okay, now I'm saying, I gave that example to say this. Whatever services you are rendering, maybe now, maybe one that God will give you, after now. See how you can also, so if you are a big girl decorating for big people, see how you can also scale down so that you don't start rejecting. I can't do this. No, I can't provide services for small wedding. I can't do a parlor wedding. I can't do a small wedding. Yeah. Do all those small ones. Photography, if you want to do photo shoot, I don't know how much people collect millions. Some collect millions and all that. You know what I found out? Is it not better you say, okay, I will take 200,000 as against me taking 1 million? And that's what you do for like 5 people instead of staying idle. So scale down whatever services you have. At all, not in bad. I think that's the one wisdom that might work for them. I'm just saying my own. So whatever you do, don't say, oh, I can't do that. I can't take this extra money. I can't take this small money. I can't do this one. Please begin to think of how you can provide services for the big and yet for the small. It's because of times to come. Then learn to offer to help. Even when people at that time have food, people will be more freely disposed to giving someone who helped them in the house or helped them around than people who didn't help them at all, but came begging and saying, I don't have food. So learn to serve, learn to help. And you can start it now. You don't have to wait till then. But even if you wait till then too, no problem. So learn to help people around. There is someone around your house that needs this and needs that. Offer to help them. When that time comes, there's no way they won't share whatever they have with you. These days we're too big. We're too big to offer people. We're too big to help people clean the house. We're too big to help. So please, it's something that we must look at. What else? Then be ready to maybe farm your gardens. All those ones that we used to do. That around the house we plant okra, plant this one, plant this one. You can start practicing now, small like that, so that some things. When I was growing up, my mom, once you go visit the house, my mom would just, fresh food, just beside the plot beside our house. My mom will farm it, almost everything. And small family, she was working, she was solo, but yet, and every family back then would actually have something that they can easily go and pluck, beside the house and get it ready. My mom had a poultry. At some point in time, she read ducks, pepeye. At some point in time, rams. My mother was always raising something, or I can't remember anything that we don't have. And that was turkey. That was the time at turkey. So when you get to the house, it's a matter of going to the backyard and bringing something, kill it fresh. You don't eat. So this might be a time to actually start doing that now in the house. Be ready to be humble. And I think ultimately is a time to actually dwell in God. I can't finish this live broadcast without saying this. God is the only one that actually would give everyone the wisdom to go through the times ahead. Even some people are already going through it now. This is the time to be closest to God. It's a time to know the mind of God. It's a time to know what to do and what not to do. It's a time to know whether it is to japa or not to japa. And that takes me to this last pattern. Please, I want to beg. If you want to travel out, please, by all means, I won't stop you. If God is leading you to, please go. If God says stay back, stay. Wherever you are, I know God will sustain. God will sustain you. If He sends you there, He will sustain you there. But I want to make an appeal to Nigerians who have gone abroad during this japa, or even before now, maybe years before now. Please, if you find that abroad is not paying you, please come back home. See, there's nothing to be ashamed of in mo japa mo tún jábọ̀. Àti lọ àti bọ̀ náà ni o. I think there are some people who are abroad who would rather want to come home, but maybe they are ashamed of what people will say, expectations. Gbàgbé expectations, oh. Forget about it. If God had planned for you to stay in Nigeria and prosper, and maybe you went abroad, come back home. God can, even in the famine that I'm talking of, God can actually set you up such that you prosper. Please, I want to appeal to everyone abroad at this time. Try your best being abroad. Have a plan of what to do or what you want to do and what you want to achieve while abroad. And have an exit plan. Exit plan including at this age, once I hustle finish, I come back to Nigeria. Or at this age, once I do this, have that plan. And in case all that does not work, I come back home. Please, don't be ashamed. People will talk. It will just be for a moment. They will go on to the next thing. So I think that's all I have to pass across and share with us. So I think, let me check if there is any comment. This one that I'm using is not showing any comments, but let me just quickly check in case. In case I have a suggestion, but please, you can drop your comment to. Someone, yes, it will go a long way. Okay, someone dropped. Okay. Someone had commented on. Yes, so it will go a long way, but I'm not sure she knows that I'm even live now, so I want to actually reply to her. The page is hanging. Okay, I wanted to, so just give me a moment. I want to check if there is any comment so I can read it and respond to it if it needs responding. What is wrong with this app now? You just froze. It froze. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Oh, the person, I think the person is also, no. Okay, let me just reply her. Yes, I am live now, sis. Okay. Oh, Lordy. Don't mind me where I am. Oh, I'm using another profile. Don't mind me. When you have too many pages that you are managing, that's what it happen. Okay, so that's it from me. But even what I wanted to go and do, which is to check this broadcast to see if there's any reaction, and wait, I'll get it. Just give me some moments. And this is my forte way. I did do. Oh, okay. Sorry, I need to change profile. Okay, let me go to Mayokun. Okay. Okay, all right. So I'm here now. Okay, no comments. So I'm free. All right. So thank you everyone for watching. God bless you. From time to time, as I feel led or I'm up to it. I can't promise daily now, but if there's anything to share, what I would also do by the grace of God, I would trust God for strength to probably break this down into short videos. Maybe record it separately, not personal. Maybe record short videos and put it. Maybe. But I think this should do anyway. So please, if you're watching this, feel free to share with your contacts, so they also can prepare ahead. God bless you. Thank you, Auntie Miremi. God bless you, man. More grace, more grace. Femi, it's a long time. Been a long time. And my brother Victor Woma. God bless you. Thank you everyone. Oh, my brother Latif. Thank you everyone. Please share it, listen to it again, and allow God give you wisdom as to how to handle all the information I just dropped here. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bless you loads.